everybody. Good morning. How are we all? Give us a wave if you can hear me. Woo. Hello, good morning. That's brilliant. Oh, we've got a mister with it. Oh, we've got a mister with us today. Hello, good morning, Derek. It's very nice to see you. So we've got Kay, Chris. Hi, Jennifer. How are you? And Rosemary. Yay! So, good morning, everybody. We are a little bit behind, so just excuse me a second while I just retack my mat. Now, we have to apologise because obviously there was a little bit of a mix-up on all the dates and a bit of confusion, etc., wasn't there? So, you have me. And also Mel's car's been very poorly. So that was another added, you know, when you don't need a spanner in the works and then you get a spanner in the works. Well, that's exactly what's happened this week. It's been a little bit, hence why I was on air as well. So, welcome. We've all now with our fabulous USB. Have they all arrived? Have you all got them? Yeah, everybody's thumbs up, nodding. Yeah. Have you opened them and had a look? Hey, Kay, yeah, well done. No. Oh, Jennifer, what you doing? So, so if you've all had a go, have you all had a play? Have you made anything? No. Kay's going, no, I haven't. Well, I've got a few ideas for you to help give you a helping hand. So first of all, right at the very beginning, I'd want to ask Andrew, bless him, is there anybody that's got any particular questions or if there's anything at all that you saw on air, if I can go through it and show it you again. Now we're in just us and I've got a bit more time to be able to go through things with you. Maybe if you've got any questions, pop them in the comments box and Andrew will feed them down to me, okay? So if there's anything that you're not quite sure about, let me know, all right? Thumbs up, everybody? Yeah, we good? Yeah. Yeah, thumbs up. Yeah, Barbara, well done. Yeah, fantastic. So, here we are. So I've got my USB and everything's in here ready. Now, a few of the things that I'm going to go through is I've made a wreath card. Excuse me because this is, there we go. I've got a wreath card here and I've welded some things together. So I've made a card blank. I'm going to make a gift tag. I have brought in, because, you know, sometimes we think card craft, etc. But I've brought a gift bag in with me today so we can decorate this. And I've also brought in, I've borrowed one of Stephanie's apertures, painting apertures, so we can actually make a scene within this as well, snipping into everything. Because I have got a great big box full. In fact, I struggle lifting this. This is all the cuts and everything that we do for a show. So all of this is all ready and prepared for me. So I'm actually going to work through some of this and use some of this to create things. So sometimes I think, oh, isn't it a waste? So I'm going to pull some of these out. And some of them are also different sizes. So I thought we could have a little play at mixing the sizes up. Do we think that might be a thing? I think that might be a thing. Put that in down there. So as you can see, when you've got something like this, the thing is when to stop, where to stop putting things on. And if you know me by now, I find that very difficult because more is more. Just keep going. I'm really bad at that. Is anybody else bad at that? Oh, yes, I am. I am very cosy. Kay, are you nodding that you find it difficult to stop? Right, no, enough now. Walk away, bless you. Yeah, I'm one of those. Yes, I am nice and cosy today because I'm in the studio and we haven't the heating's not been on in here and it's cold. It's freezing, in fact. It's not just cold. It's like being in Siberia. So I've got my cosy top on. You all look very cosy. You're all nice and settled. It's nice. Do you know, it's lovely when I see you all and you're in your craft rooms and I can go, oh, what you got on your shelf? So I can see what you've all got. Right. let's get to it. So the first one, like I say, really easy one to set off with. And then the others are just a little bit of inspiration just to see, you know, to help you along. Does anybody, or is anybody a little bit still struggling with how to group, align, scan in and cut? If they are, I can go through that. I've got plenty to cut, so I can show you that again if you want me to. Obviously, we go through it on air quite a few times because, you know, we've had this fabulous deal on the scan and cut, and there's been so many people buy it. That's one of the most important things, really, is when you're working with the collection like this. Sorry, again, Andrew. It's just giving me a time check. Yeah, it's just so you all get to know, especially the tape and all sorts everywhere, especially the new people that are joining us. It's like, oh, well, it's all right, keep telling me all of that, but I've no idea how to actually do it. So that's why we do that on air quite a few times, to help everybody. So, first of all, here we go. Let's wake up the machine. Now, the one I've actually used is, I've gone with the Fleurs wreath because I just love it, and I love poppies. Poppies are one of my favourite things. So we're going to open up the machine and have a look for it. Retrieve data into our USB. And I'm going to go down to, is it ready or not? Yes. And then Fleur. So this is the one that I use to actually make this. Now, like I was saying on air, we've got detail cuts, matte cuts, and also another one that I'm going to show you today is that I've got the pen holder, the universal pen holder. So for those of you that have not either already got one or two have got one and don't use it, I'm going to show you how to actually pop the pen in and tighten it up, etc. So going back to this is what made me prompt talking about the actual pen holder, was the detailed cuts. Now the detailed cuts are incredible, and I'm going to draw something for you just so you can see how wonderful they actually draw out. So we've got the detailed cuts, we've got our matte cuts. Now let me just open these up because it's so much easier to see rather than me just talk about it. Let's go into our large actual cut because we don't want the decoupage. Let's go into this one. Sometimes on the details it takes a little bit longer to come through. So I'm going to press OK. I'm going to go into edit and we're going to zoom in so you can all see. Now on the detail cuts, as you can see, we've got extra lines in here. So we've got lots of extra lines. So when you draw this out, all those lines are drawn in. So you can then use your actual reflections if you love colouring. This is one of the really nice things about the detail cuts, is that you can draw it out, use the inspiration of the artwork and just colour in and follow on those lines. So, and I think it's wonderful that you can make colouring books like that. So we're going to come out of there, go back in, USB, go back down to Ready or Not, and I want Fleur again. And then we also have our matte cuts. Now the matte cuts are literally exactly that. So let's go into our large. And it is just the outline. So all of you that have actually had 2 red robins in the past and had dies, you can see sometimes we give you that outside edge, that extra line, and that's what that is. So that is exactly what I've used here. To create this. So you get a larger mat, and then that is my SVG cut, that's my reflection. And then this is your other mat. So then you lay this over the top, okay? And then the larger of the mats, I've grouped and welded together to make myself a card blank, okay? Couldn't be any easier, that one. So that then lays up on top of there, which is slightly bigger. And then onto there to finish that off, okay? So that's what your matte layers are, which is a wonderful thing to have. And then drop down, and these then are reflections. So this is the one I've actually used to create this wreath. So go back one, go back into our matte cuts, and it's really easy to do. I'm going to use the large just because it's a little bit easier for you to see. And let me go into mat number 2 just so you can see the difference. Mat number 2 is just a single mat, okay? So the second one, mat number 2, is the smaller of the two mats. Mat number 1 is the bigger one with the actual mat layers for the butterflies. So I want mat number 1 because I want the bigger of the two elements. I'm going to press OK. Now the only one that I want to work with is the large one. Okay, so I'm going to bring that down here out the way. I'm going to tap off the image and tap one of the butterflies because I've already cut the butterfly mats out. I don't need these. So as always, one of the little tips that I use to get rid of in multiple delete in one go is I select just part of the mat and I cover over the actual piece that I want to keep that I'm not deleting, because once you cover, even if I cover over the smallest amount at the bottom like that, it can't see that no more. It no longer sees that image on the mat, but it will see everything else. So when I press OK, it's now put red boxes around everything else that's left on the mat. Press OK again. Now if I press delete, now deleting here doesn't delete anything off the USB, okay? You can delete off the USB, okay? If, as and when you're choosing it, you choose selecting the one you want, it does have a delete button on it, it does have a bin button. But if you ever do that by accident and you think, no, wrong button, and you have deleted it, just get in touch with us at Highlight Crafts Customer Services and we'll send you the actual cut file out again, okay? So you've got it again. So don't ever worry if you do ever do that, we can resend it to you, it's not a problem. So now then, to create my actual card blank that I have in front of me, I'm going to need 2 of these. But obviously, when I fold this in half, it's no longer a full shape. So what I like to do is I have several of these. So I have 3. So I'm going to go into Object Edit, Multiples, and I have 3. So now I've got 3 of these on my mat. Okay, and I'm going to work with one of them. They are a little bit big, but but it's just that this is how I work it. So what I would do is I work on 2, leave one off to the side, and then I would then cut it all in one go. So I've got everything, but this one's a little bit big. So I'm going to delete one of them. That's how I would normally work with it. I'd have all of them on the mat and cut them in one go. But obviously you can go back and bring it back on again, but just you'd have to remember to delete the butterflies. So I'm going to work on the top one because it's the easier one, because this is the one that I'm going to flip, rotate and weld, okay? So I'm going to go back into Object Edit. And first of all, I want to rotate it. So I want to rotate it 90 degrees. I'm happy with that, but I also now want to flip it because I've rotated it. As you can see, it's no longer symmetrical. So flip, and we've now got symmetry. So overlap these 2 pieces. I'm quite happy with the small overlap. And now we're going to go back into all our boxes, everything on the mat, but we only need to align it at this point. So we're going to go into our alignment function, and I'm quite happy. That just nudged it over with central. While it's still all selected everything on the mat, while you've got lots of red boxes or multiple red boxes, we can now weld. It can be welded actually, because I've already done it. Now we might need nudging down a little bit. Okay. Edit, everything on the mat. Sometimes it needs to have more of an overlap, which is clearly what it's done there. Now, weld. Right, okay, so it needed more of an overlap. It wasn't happy with a small one. So press OK. And there we have our actual card blank, which is where we are with this one. Okay, so that's on my mat. So super easy. Then I went to back in and brought on the other mats. So this is the one that finishes off my card blank. So when I fold that in half, I've actually got a full shape again still. So what I'm going to do is I will actually fold that so you can see, because as always, it's easier to, when, you know, somebody talking about it, it's like, no, show me what you're doing. Okay, I'm now going to make sure that I'm putting glue on the right side. So I've lined it up and I'm going to flip it over because again, I'm really good at gluing the wrong bit. Absolutely, Jennifer. Yeah, so Jennifer's just asked a really good question. So if you, in fact, I'll do that next. Let me just glue this on here and then I'll show you. So Jennifer has just asked a really good question. So if you've got multiple flowers, which I will pull one from a decoupage piece, and I'll do exactly that for you, Jennifer. Okay, so that's what this is all about really, the education. Yeah, so any shape absolutely can be duplicated and flipped. It doesn't really, I only flip it like this because I need it to be symmetrical. So a really good example of needing it to be symmetrical would be a word. So if you were sending a thank you card and you got the word thank you, you wouldn't just put it above it and weld it. You'd have to rotate it and then you would have to flip it so the T's are the same when you fold it down. Otherwise you would end up with a T on this side and a T on this side at the back, so it would be mismatched. So yes, absolutely, Jennifer. Fabulous question, thank you. So one of the other things, and that's just made me think that I can show you something else as well. So now that one is my smaller mat. Now, given that with constraints of time and that I want to show you some extra pieces, inking the edges, shaping all of this, cutting it out of, I think these would also look really nice out of the 2 Red Robin backing papers. If you were to cut your mat layer out of something like a field, let's say, and then lay your flowers over the top, that would make it look beautiful. So your backing papers don't always just have to be a backing paper. It can also be your mat layers as well for something like this. So let's take off my tape and then, there we go. I have got some construction acetate, so I can put my butterflies on. But as always, with construction acetate, you can't see it, can you? I've actually put it in a plastic bag. I should have marked the bag so I could find it. Okay, tape, thank you. So now this is one of my matte layers. But like I say, it would have looked lovely if I'd have done this out of a backing paper, actually. Very good question. So we've had another question. Who was that from? Do we know, Andrew? Eric, brilliant. Derek, thank you, Derek. Brilliant question. So the question is, what weight of cardstock do we use? Now, specifically for detail cuts. Now, I always say it's entirely what you prefer to work with. I know Mel likes cutting all of her decoupage and charisma and things out of 140, printed on 140 GSM and then cuts it out. Personally, when I'm doing some of my decoupage, I actually still like the 250, 240 GSM. It's entirely on how you would prefer to work, because obviously when you've got something like this, you can print on vellums, you can print on acetate, you can print on rice paper as well. They all give you beautiful cuts as well within the machine. But for the detail cuts and when you're doing decoupage, Mel always says that she likes a 140. Now, for the actual decoupage layers, 140 I actually quite like. But for my structure, for this is on 140 and it's quite delicate. But for me, I would probably print my actual main piece, if it was a wreath, etc. And especially also it's what you're going to use it for. If you're using it for home decor and you need it quite rigid, you could still cut it out of 140, but then I would cut another one exactly the same size and map them together to give it more structure. So yeah, so our detail cuts, a lot of them are cut out of 140, the decoupage elements especially, but then it's entirely up to you really. It's what you like to work with when you're actually doing your shaping and building your cards. So I suppose really it's a personal preference, but that's what we do here anyway. So that lays on there. Now popping that foam tape on the smaller matte layer has given me a shadow, and I say it's like a free matte layer when you have a shadow like that, when you put the tape on. And you can use more than one layer of tape, so put several layers of tape on and really lift it up and make it a focal point. So now I'm going to stick this on here with, oh, there it is. I've got a narrower tape. Because I've got narrower pieces, I've picked up a narrower tape because I thought it would be a little bit easier rather than snipping pieces off the larger one. So on here, like so. Then we can build this up, and then we have got some really pretty decoupage. But then I'm going to take those decoupage pieces, like lovely Jennifer asked, and I'm going to turn them into a wreath, or the shape of them into a wreath. So now we take the backing off of this, like so. So how have you all liked this particular collection? Because obviously this is collections that haven't been on air, and they haven't been, they've been on web, but they're not actually attached to a collection. They're just little mini collections that we put together for you. So putting these on a USB was like a little bit of a bonus. Are you all liking that we've done that? Because like I say, it was something a little bit different that we've done this time. So this isn't one of the, obviously our other USBs are chapters, you know, 1 to however many that we've got going on now. There's just so many now. But on this one, this was something a little bit different. So I'm going to stick that down with wet glue so it doesn't catch and peel away. And again, you did. You've loved. That's brilliant. So yeah. Thank you. Just that I can feed that back now and let people know that you've actually enjoyed the fact that we've given you this collection. So here we have. Oh, several bags. I've got more things in front of me than a little. Gets a bit confusing, and I can confuse myself without adding to it. Are we all ready for Christmas? How did I know you were all going to go like that? Oh dear. Have we all got our trees up? No, Kay, you're letting the side down. Oh dear. Mine's been up since last weekend. Right, little ball tool. Put a little bit of shape in this decoupage, and then what I'm going to do is I have got little pieces of acetate. So I'm going to use the acetate to put my lovely little butterflies on. So first of all, I'm shaping at the front like this. You see, the creativity when you've got something like this is fabulous. Like I say, we can do these for gift bags, but when you've got the wreaths and things, I think the wreaths really add to many of the pieces. I've got more butterflies than I know. There we go. So for me, it's like doing home decor and doing things like that. And isn't it lovely that when you give a gift, that you've got everything that matches? So you've got a card and a tag, and everything all just works together. And in the sizes that you need as well. So that is one of the beauties of the Scan and Cut, the actual machine, is that you're going to get to be able to make, I know I say this regularly, the project that you want. So you could actually make the gift, the gift bag to put it in, and everything else for that matter. So pop that on there. These are now my little decoupage pieces. And as soon as I've finished this, we'll go on and I will show you how we do the welding other objects together to make something quite different. Pops on like so. So the wreaths that we've got at the moment are beautiful, but if you, for instance, like we're going to use, if you just wanted the poppy, you could very much just weld some of the poppy pieces together if you wanted to create a poppy wreath. So these are all the lovely little decoupage. And I love doing decoupage, but some of these elements, the smaller elements, oh gosh, you'd be there all day cutting all this out, wouldn't you? So that's why, again, I love the scan and cut. So there we have all of that. And resizing is brilliant. So you can then go in as well, if you wanted to, resize your reflection, even these butterflies. And then because you've got the matte layers for the butterflies, like so, one, they could either be detail on a wall, or they can also be card blanks. So if you resize this actual print piece to be a full A4 sheet, and then resized your actual image, cut it out, then you've actually got a big butterfly card blank, which is wonderful. Or you could do a cut butterfly card blank. In fact, rather than, I'm going to do, one of the things I will show you how to do this actually is how to make an aperture with a shaped card blank and then be able to cut it out, because you could make a card blank, you could make an aperture. So we're now working with the butterfly, weld two together, still have the aperture at the front, so it would cut out with an aperture. You would then cut out the frame that fits with it, and then you could fill the frame on the front of that shaped like a butterfly with butterflies. Okay, so there's so much you can do with this, so we'll also show you that in a second. So then that will feed very nicely into what there we go. So now I've got a couple of my little, I know it's hard to see when I work with acetate. I do apologise. I do it all the time, don't I? So I'm sorry, but I'm going to put a little bit of red tape on, and then it'll all become clear and you'll be able to see where it is. So pop that on there. That's one. Pop that on there. That's two. And then I want one each side of this, because I'm going to sandwich this piece in the middle of my matte layer of my butterfly and my butterfly. So we're having lots of people. Lots of you are actually asking about the web exclusives and with regards and using it as an SVG form. Now, it's lovely to have your feedback and that you're all really excited about maybe having the web exclusives. But I can say we are actually looking at doing that also. Just bear with us, because that is something that may come in the future. It's going to be, you know, it takes a little bit of work putting these together. So like we have already done the collections chapters, and then we've done this one that is obviously some of the web launches that we've done. So these aren't the web exclusive, these are just web launches. So then going on and then actually creating the web exclusives and turning those into SVG files. But they've got to be changed from die format into an SVG format, and then the artwork's got to be changed and laid out in the box so it can be scanned in. So it does take a little bit of time, but it is something that we're looking at. So yeah, just bear with us, because that is something for the future. Do you know, I love it when you all have a chat with us. So now, I'm going to take this off of here. Pop my little butterfly on there, and then I'm going to mat this, and I know it's a bit difficult for you all to see when I'm working on clear and glass like that. So now I've sandwiched my little butterfly, But I didn't stick it all down because I want to put some shape. Even though I've got a matte layer behind it, I think the matte layer allows you to actually see the butterfly as well a little bit better. So now I'm going to take, could be a pencil, I'm just going to use my little and curl it like that. So now, and I've squashed my leaf, my actual little, like so. And I'm now going to stick my butterfly where I've got my matte layer. Just going to lift that up a little bit, tuck it in. Bear with me, everybody. So I can stick that in there. So I've now got butterflies coming forward. So when I stand this up, we've got butterflies flying around the flowers. Like so. So again, using red liner tape on my acetate, because red liner tape and acetate are best friends. Glue and acetate really aren't friends. They don't like each other. I've found that I've made creations before and then they've all come uncemented, which is not a good thing. So that is like so. And I'm going to do exactly the same, oops, a little bit of shape in my butterfly wings. Mat this on this side, so I'm having this one a little bit lower down, like so. So again, that is one of the reasons why having the matte layers is just fabulous. So I've now got my little butterflies, and then I've got a few extra ones. And I am going to use my matte layer because against the colour, having the actual matte layer helps, I think, makes it pop. Like so. That's going to go on there. Again, bring that lovely little wing forward. I've already got my tape on my table. And then 3D this onto my project. So, and now I've got a butterfly that is now on there like so. Let's move all of my pieces to one side. And then that creates, I'm going to put this forward, Andrew, if you want to. Is that any easier? So now I've got my butterflies flying on my card like that. So we've now created a card blank just out of a matte shape, matte and laid it all up, put the decoupage on and use those lovely butterflies to create that. And it will still lay flat and go in a card as well, in the envelope. So that's our first one. Now, going back to the questions, and I always love it when we get questions because it means that I can show you something, teach you something, which is always a good thing. Now, first of all, the lovely Jennifer asked if we could weld shapes together. Absolutely. So we're going to go back here and we're going to use the butterflies as well. So we're staying with the same theme. So we're going to go back into the forget me not. Back into the USB. Ready or not, that's it. And into Fleur. Now we're going to go into our matte cuts because we don't want the detail. We don't want the others, the actual, we want the matte cuts at the moment. So at the moment, we're actually creating the wreath. Now I do want decoupage cuts, excuse me, because I want a flower. I'm into reflections. I'm going to use the extra large, so this is going to be bigger so you can actually see what I'm doing. And I want a decoupage piece. I'm going to press OK and tap off it. Now the pieces that I'm going to use, I am actually going to select the biggest one. So if I just hop across, I want this big one here. Da, da. Keep going. It would be the last one I choose, wouldn't it? So that one, pull that one out, tap off and onto there. And then again, that little tip, select part of the mat, cover up the piece that I'm keeping, and then that highlights everything else to delete in one go. Okay, now we're just working on this one. Now, It does take a little bit of manipulating because we've got to use our rotational to actually get them all lined up, but it does work. So we're going back into Object Edit and we want multiples. So I'm going to opt for maybe 6, okay? So we've got all 6 on here. I'm just going to move them all up and out the way. And because it's actually already got a curve on it, that is going to be to our benefit. So now what I'm going to do is click on this one because I'm going to work on one piece at a time. I want to go back into my rotate because I want to move it slightly. So I've moved it a little bit. I'm going to overlap that one. Okay. And then I'm going to go move these out the way. I'm going to group these two together so they don't move. So I'm going to go all the way back, select part of the mat, tap off it, there we go. I don't want that one. Select part of the mat again, cover all these up, don't want that, and I want to group these two together. I'm not welding, I'm grouping. Now it means that if I make a mistake, those two are in the position that I want them to be. I'm not going to disturb them. Now I'm going to go back and work on another one. We're going to go back into rotate and I'm going to rotate in the same direction. I'm going to rotate to the left every time. So I'm rotating that round. I'm going to hover over it. I'm quite happy with where that is. Because we're not welding, it means that we can go back and rotate each one until we've got the shape that we actually want. Or another way you can do this is to bring on a circle, make it the size that you actually want it, and then lay the pieces over the top of the circle, and then delete the circle and group it together. That's another way of getting a perfect circle. But remember, don't keep the circle because the circle will then cut everything in half. So now I'm going to move all of these out of the way and we're going to group again. In fact, that might be a little bit too much. Press OK. And then we want to select again part of the mat. Cover over these ones because I don't want to group these together, but I do want to group those. So now I'm moving that as one piece, okay? Tap on one of these, move it down, and we're going to, again, move it so I've got it all the way around like so. And exactly the same thing again. So we want to select part of the mat. It is very repetitive working with the scan and cut, but when you've done this a few times, it's just fabulous. Right, okay. Now we're going to group these two together. Okay, so that, we don't even really need these two now, but I will put an extra one on because what I'm going to show you. So now we're going to align this one again. So I'm going to go all the way around. I suppose I could have gone the other way, but being as though we're here. Okay, so that's another one. Bring that down a little bit more. I think I'm happy with that. You could have a play around with that if you wanted to. Now, again, we're going to select part of the mat, cover that one over, and then group this. But this has done all of the work. We can delete that one. We've now done, we've done all of the work with this, okay? So what we can now do is just have two of them because it's grouped together. And now I can rotate that all the way around. I know I've probably used a few too many. But if I align that like so, press OK. And now what it will do, we have to ungroup everything to then be able to weld. Because at the moment it will only weld these two objects because it will only weld what it's actually highlighted. So we need to go through and go and ungroup everything. Press OK. And ungroup. Select some patterns, okay. There we go. Ungroup. And then go to the next one. There we go. That's all grouped. Ungroup. Go to the next one. These are all, oh no, that's one where we've grouped them together, look. So ungroup. It's okay. Go to the next one, which is there. Ungroup. And then keep using your arrows until you realise that all of them are all single. No, that's not single, that's grouped. You can tell because of the size of the box. So keep going again. I believe that is also grouped, so ungroup that. Now if we go all the way around, all of these are all singles. Now one of those I'm actually going to delete because it's a double one. And I'm going to click on that. I'm going to go into my direction arrows and I'm going to lift it up a little bit to make it a little bit more like it's a circle. Now we've got the shape that we want in. I'm going to select everything on the mat in one go and weld. And now it's made me a whole wreath just out of the shape of the florals. But it takes a little bit of doing. Now what I would have probably normally have done is I would have saved it ungrouped into my machine, then grouped it like so. So now then I will have got a grouped element and I would have got all the pieces separate as well. So if I wanted to, I could go back in, and if I wanted a flower here, I could manipulate it, rotate it round and have a flower on this and then weld it together. So you can create some fabulous shaped wreaths from all of your pieces. Did you get any of that, Jennifer? Are you okay with that? Yeah, thumbs up, brilliant. So then the other thing you can do when you've got shapes, I love doing things like this. So I'm going to press home, okay. We're going to go back into retrieve data and I'm going to go and get one of those big butterflies. So in here, oh no, one more, ready or not. In Fleur, into my mat cuts. And I'm going to go extra large. Is this where the butterflies were? Fingers crossed. Nope, it wasn't. That was just going to be typical, wasn't it? The one that I choose that wouldn't be there. So I'm going to press OK. Now, the one I want is that. Everything else I'm going to get rid of. No, I'm not. I want that one as well, because these are two different sizes. So I'm going to go select part of the mat, cover up the pieces I'm keeping, and delete everything else. I'm now going to group these together and I'm going to resize them as one, because then they're going to be resized in ratio. One will still fit inside the other. So I'm going to go into resize. I'm going to change that to inches because it's a little bit easier for my head to work it out. So 4.5. Keep going. Oh no, we are at 4.5 on one of them. So we're going to go 4.5 at the bottom. I'm going to press OK. Now I'm going to ungroup them so I can rotate them and get them how I want them to be. And I know one does fit inside the other. So let's rotate that like so. That one. Oh. So one is slightly bigger than the other. That's it. So the one on the outside I need to make a little bit bigger. Go about. And now I'm going to go even bigger than that. Smaller, should I say. Make one smaller, make one bigger. We're creating a frame here. I'll work on this one. Make that one smaller. That's better. If I could, I'm going to zoom in so I can actually see. So I'm going to align everything on my mat first, and then that'll give me a better idea when I zoom in that I've got my frame. Oh, there we go. There's my frame. That's better. I can see now. So now I'm going to group these together. Group. So that is now my frame, okay? So I want 2 of those. Plus. I'm going to pull one out the way and I'm going to save it to the machine as it is. I'm going to ungroup them first because it won't like saving things that are grouped, but that one can stay grouped. Or can it? Let's ungroup it for good luck. Save it to the machine and then we can go back and retrieve it. No? Oh, we've got to delete something. The machine's memory is full, it suggests. It's now saving. Are you all with me so far? Okay, so now we've got two elements. The frame at the bottom, or that one, I am actually still going to go, I'm going to go back in and I'm going to group it, okay? Because I will be working with it as a frame. Okay, group. Now this, we can do two different things with it, okay? We can either cut two of them, flip it, weld it and rotate it, or we can actually put it onto a rectangle. And so we've got a rectangle at the back and we've got a butterfly at the front, and then we work with it as a frame. And then this is where you can put all your butterflies around the outside of the frame and it'll be beautiful. So now we need to add, I'm going to leave this here. I already know that we've got the other one here, but I want this one. So I need to go into my size because I need a frame that is 5.09 inches wide. So I'm going to press OK and we're going to add, keep going, add. I want a pattern. I just want a normal shape and set it on the mat. So now we're making our card blank. So I want to resize this. I'm going to edit, object edit, and we're going to resize it. I'm going to unlock the aspect ratio because I only want it 5.09 if I remember. There we go. And then if I click on that again, it actually tells me it's 3.44. Unlock the aspect ratio, I can actually go 3.44. If I press on it too long, it gets a bit carried away and I end up with something that's like 5.5 inches instead of the 3 that I want. So you have to, let's see, miles away from where I want it to be. So there we are. So now these two pieces are spot on. So now what I want to do is align them. So I need to select part of the mat, cover up my frame because I don't need to alter that. I'm going to press OK, align in the middle, and then I'm going to nudge these together. So I'm working on one of them using my directional arrows and, oh, wrong way. I'm going to bring these so they overlap. Just like so, press OK. And then I'm going to select part of the mat again. And I'm not sure if it will delete the hole in the middle. I'm hoping it doesn't. It may do. Weld. But now I've still got my frame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the middle out of my frame. Oops. Oh yeah, it's asking me if I can OK. I'm going to select the other one and align that back up in the middle of there. Zoom in. This is why I like the 400% on this, because my eyes are not fantastic anymore. Bring that down. Press OK. I want two, so I'm going to add another one because I want one for my frame in the middle. That one down here. Back up to this one. Select part of the mat. Press OK. OK again. And group. That is now my card blank. And these two. Select part of the mat. Okay. These are now alignment. I do that with that one. Again, I can now go in and group. So I've now made myself a card blank with a shaped aperture on the front and a frame that will then sit back over that. So the piece of the butterfly that has been chopped off at the top, I've now got my frame to finish it off. So I can now go back in, print off all the lovely butterflies and then cover that in all butterflies. So your question, Jennifer, was really, really good. That was brilliant. So yes, you can definitely weld all different shapes together to make different frames, absolutely. And also you can do it that way as well. So you can just use one shape to make a card blank like so. So, has everybody enjoyed listening to that? Have you learnt something? Yes. Oh, good. Yeah, Jennifer's, bless you. If you're struggling, Jennifer, don't worry. You can go back and slow me down and re-watch it again, okay? So you can always, because that's the good thing about the Zooms, you can go back and watch it again. So lovely Andrew upstairs in the gallery is saying that he's going to try and get it uploaded. If it's not out tomorrow, it will be definitely there for you the day after, okay? So you just got to bear with him to get him to edit it, and he will definitely get it there for you so you can actually work along. So it would probably be easier have me watching me and actually pressing the buttons exactly the same time as that I am and watch along. You can mute me, you don't have to listen to me. And then work along and work that with me. Chris is laughing at me. Yeah, you can mute me, you don't have to listen to me, waffle. So thank you again, every one of you, for joining me. It's such a pleasure to have you come along. It's lovely doing the Zooms. I thoroughly enjoy being with you all. If you've learnt something, that again is just fabulous. I like to try and give you a bit of inspiration as well. I know sometimes with me, I do more basic projects, you know, because I know Mel does the wow and she can really go into a lot of detail with everything. So I come from it a little bit more of a basic side. So, yeah, so thank you again. It's been an absolute pleasure. Stay safe, stay warm. And if I don't see you all again before, have a fabulous Christmas, won't you, all of you? And I'll see you all again soon. Take care. Bye.